sure you're ready for this?
I'll do my best.
Your best? Losers always whine about their best. Winners go home and the prom queen.
Welcome to the best soccer show. The best soccer show in the whole world.
Here we go. Best soccer show, North American Soccer Network, NASN.TV. Jason Davis, Jared DuBois. We are back. We are here. It is happening. I feel good.
I'm afraid reports of our demise have been unfounded.
Okay. I thought you were going for the Mark Twain quote, which is
what?
Reports of my demise have been greatly exaggerated. So you butchered the hell out of that thing. But hey,
I think I don't believe I was trying to quote anyone. I was just talking.
All right, you were paraphrasing down. I don't know. Whatever. You did your thing. It's Jared DuBois, Jason Davis. We are live. It is Wednesday night. I'm excited for this program. We're going to get the phone lines up and running here for anybody who's been jonesing for a little best soccer show so they can get in their thoughts on whatever is happening. It's MLS, certainly the national team. Jared, how many days until the 30-man roster comes out? It's not that many. It's May 12th.
May 12th. So that's roughly 20 days.
Something like that. I haven't done the count in my head. I'm bad at counting days. That's like one of those.
Well, it's tough to do when you have to have every month memorized how many days are in it. Like April's 31, right?
No, 30 days has September. April.
30. Dang it. Yeah, March is 31. I can't do it. Do you ever teach you the knuckle thing? Like
no.
I'll have to show you sometime. Like you can count like how many days are a month by your knuckles.
Okay, all right. That's a good trick, I suppose. I know the rhyme. That's the one I learned. There's a.
I guess it's like tying your shoes. You can either learn the bunny method, bunny ears, or the loop, swoop, and pull. You can do one of those two.
Loop, swoop, and pull, or right, which I think is a major theme of that movie, Big Daddy.
By the way, I had to go to the DMV today, which is the most soul-crushing place on earth. I don't know how it is where you live, but in California, it is terrible.
You don't want to know how it is where I live. Trust me. Go ahead.
So I'm there, and tell me which of these two things I witness is sadder. A 16-year-old girl getting her license with her baby. So she had a baby before she had her license. Ooh. Or the 35-year-old man that needed his mommy to come with him to get his license for the first time.
Oh, the man is sadder in a... I don't know. Maybe because I can possibly identify with that on some level. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I can't have a baby, so...
But either way, there's something wrong with my life if I'm between those two bookends. I shouldn't have to be at a DMV.
Well, okay. First of all, how do you know she was 16? Maybe she was a little older and just presented as 16 because of where she was.
Either way, the picture of having a baby before you have a license is still in play.
Yes, I know. I understand. But there are grown adults who, for whatever reason, don't get their driver's license, and not through any sad story. They just don't have it. They live
in California. You have to have a driver's license.
I know. You people in your car culture. I mean, I got one the second I could. My DMV is in a small town.
Well, where were you living when you were 16?
I was living in Alabama at the time when I got my license. Yeah. All right. So we are live. The phone lines are open 201-430-2378. Jump in whenever you feel the urge to do so. We've got a full list of topics. I mean, we could go back in time and cover some things we missed, but I don't think that's the way to go. I think the way to go is to get into the stuff that's happening right now. And maybe this might be the most important thing to come out this week, Jared.
Huh.
It's the Burgundy Waves list of MLS teams as houses from Game of Thrones. That might be the most.
Okay, maybe I'm going to be the guy that kind of poo-poos on this. Didn't this happen like a year ago? Didn't someone do this a year ago?
I'll say this. I don't know that anybody did it for MLS teams. Maybe they did. In fact,
I know for a fact it happened for EPL teams.
Yes, it definitely has been done for EPL, and it is a very tired sort of meme-ish blog post.
I think there may have been a Twitter meme for MLS and Game
There may have been, and I'm not going to come down on these guys. They're looking for blogs.
I read it all the way through. I was entertained by it, but I just don't think it was the first time I've ever seen it.
It's not completely original. Taking the houses from the Game of Thrones and applying them to something else, whether it's MLS teams or NFL teams or whatever, is not new. That's not new.
But I was entertained by it.
I still have fun with this. And I think that it's interesting. Let's just do a couple of these. We don't have to do all of them. But you tell me if you have any fundamental problem with these. I mean,
the problem is I can't remember who some of these are.
Well, there is that. You get lost in the convoluted world of Westeros.
Who's the Faceless Men? I don't know who the Faceless Men are.
Okay, that's not coming to me right now. But we'll House Lannister. Obviously, you know the Lannisters as the LA Galaxy. Any problem at all with that one?
Picks itself. That's easy.
Okay. By the way, this is by Thor Morgan. I'm not sure how you said this, Tor or Thor, but which is a hell of a name, by the way.
I'm him. I'm going by Thor.
Okay, but I used to know a guy in college whose name was that, and it was Tor. Called him Tor.
And anyway. I would refer to my junk as my hammer.
DC United as House Targaryen, which is the house that used to rule but doesn't anymore. The only problem I have with this one, but the only problem I have with this one is that the Khaleesi's coming and she's got dragons. I don't see any dragons in the roster at DC United. I'm sorry, I don't see any dragons. Do you?
Maybe it's early on before she hit the dragon's hatch. She has eggs.
All right. Seattle Sounders is House Tyrell. That's the house of the girl who's marrying into the Lannisters to become queen. That's House Tyrell. Yes or no?
Yeah, it's good enough. They got money, okay. And there's a very green. I would associate them with green because I think they have the rose, very nature. You get the feeling that one day when you see where they're from, it's going to be very vegetation oriented.
Okay, yeah, I think they come from High Garden or something, right? Isn't that the name? Yeah, there you go. There's my game.
And if anything about Seattle, you could say it's probably people in a garden that are high.
Yes. Okay. Sporting Kansas City, House Baratheon of Storm's End. FC Dallas, House Baratheon of Dragonstone. This is the split. So Storm's End is where Robert Baratheon, the late king, was from, and then you have Stannis Baratheon.
So they're saying that Oscar Pereira deals in black magic.
Yeah. Does he have a Red Queen there at FC Dallas? He might not. Red she is. Go ahead.
I mean, Stephen Keel's got some long hair.
Okay.
He wears red.
It's an odd mental picture. The rest of these, okay. The only one I really want to pay attention to for the rest of these. Chicago Fire is House Stark.
Oh, that's totally apropos. First of all, it's cold where they live, and they just can't get anything positive going for themselves.
Okay. I do like New England Revolution as the Night's Watch. I do like that one. They're like but
Night's Watch, I don't know. They got fun young kids. They can't get it together. So I don't know. I have issues with that one.
All right. Maybe that one is not the perfect. And then you have Vancouver as the White Walkers. Maybe that's just the white thing because they're White Caps and White Walkers. I don't know. And Toronto FC as the Wildlings.
But what I don't like about this is it paints LA as the bad guys. Are we the bad guys?
Yeah, pretty much.
Dang it.
Can you really get around that? Embrace it. This is what Yankee fans do. This is what Raiders fans do, although they're not very good right now. This is what the big club in any sport does, is they embrace the bad guy image. You have to be the bad guy.
Yeah, but I guess when I think of the bad guys, I like the bad guys like the Detroit Pistons, where it was down, dirty, thuggish bad guys. Yeah. LA's bad guys because people don't like LA. Yeah,
but teams with money are always the bad guys. The Yankees,
they're not throwing elbows and getting dirty and nasty.
Listen to me. The Yankees are the bad guys. They're not bad players. They're not dirty players. They're very professional about the way they go about their business. That you respect the way they do their jobs. You just hate the fact that they're the big dog with the biggest checkbook and can go out and buy any player that they want. The joke in baseball is anytime a young player is coming to the end of his first contract, the joke is, well, he'll be a Yankee in 5 years.
I like this, and I'm starting to like this more and more because the hate comes from a place of hating your own team more. You hate LA, or not you, but in the universal you. Hate LA because you hate your team even more because you can't be LA.
Oh, see? Well, there's you. That's you embracing the villain.
Oh, I'm just like I'm a total Lannister lion right now.
If you put that into some more poetic kind of language, that would be a hell of a soliloquy from a villain in a movie.
And Jay Rodius is pretty close to Joffrey.
You hate who I am because you hate who you are.
I'm telling you, man, that's some existential stuff right there, man. You gotta look inward.
House Lannister, the LA Galaxy. They always pay their debts? Is that what the Galaxy do?
But Beckham got paid.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Lots of topics tonight. Again, 201-430-2378 is the phone number. Jump in whenever. You got a house from Westeros you want to apply to an MLS team, or I guess the Dothraki in there. They're not from Westeros. They're from Easteros or whatever it's called. Esteros.
Is that what it's called?
Esteros. It's called Esteros.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Let's talk about New York City FC. There's a game tonight, by the way. New York Red Bulls are up 3-0 on the Houston Dynamo at Red Bull Arena. Not looking good for the Dynamo. And the Red Bulls are playing some very nice soccer. We may touch on that game a little bit later.
It's all Thierry Henry all the time right now in that game. And it just begs the question, much like Marco Di Vaio Montreal, what's going to happen when every time New York plays on turf? I mean, it can't be Henry and a bunch of other dudes for a full season.
No,
who else is going to like step up and support that team?
They do have some issues. Although, look, I mean, they've got talent. Lloyd Sam, we know about him. He's good. Bradley Wright Phillips, if he finds his scoring feet, he did tonight. 2 goals already in this game.
Yeah, good runs, by the way. And if you go back and watch that first goal later, how many guys in the position that Thierry Henry is in on that, going towards the end line, is cutting that ball to a split ball between the two defenders. Thierry Henry sees it different. He bends the ball around the last defender. That's the harder play. It's an amazing play, and Bradley Wright Phillips makes the perfect run anticipating that. But I think there's a majority of guys in MLS are going to try to split that ball between the defenders, and it's just a different level when you go back and watch how he bent that.
Yeah, you watch the second goal where Roy Miller absolutely skinned Craval and puts a ball that, again, it's the run that makes that goal because Bradley Wright Phillips crashes the near post and flips.
Great soft touch, too.
Perfect stuff there.
But what kind of world do we live in where in 2 weeks in a row I have to praise Roy Miller for plays that he's making? I mean, Roy Miller's had a good 2 weeks.
Here's the thing about Roy Miller, and I said this on Twitter. Going forward is not Roy Miller's biggest problem. I mean, he can be kind of a spaz.
It's the ball going backwards off his heel.
It's always the kind of dirt move, moving backwards, trying to defend, trying to recover. Because what does Roy Miller want to do? He wants to bomb forward. He wants to get into the attacking third. He wants to be the guy to put that cross in. And Houston's just not exploiting the space. They didn't figure out a way to make Armando have to cover more ground out there. He's in one-on-one situations, but he can force whoever's out there, Boniak or whoever, to the end line or push them into the middle to more help. And it's working. Dax McCarty is doing yeoman's work in the midfield, as always, for the Red Bulls. Good stuff out of them. In New York City, the Red Bulls will have competition in that market in the form of New York City FC, of which our producer Trevor is a proud season ticket holder. Season ticket holder already.
What a bandwagoner.
He got his phone call from Jason Christ today.
Personally?
Yeah, voicemail. But because he was on the train, so I guess he missed the call. But he
wait. Was it really a personalized call, or was it a chain mailed one? Yes. How do you know for sure? Did he say your name? Did he say Trevor?
There was a lot of yes, he did. Apparently, there's a lot of reports of Jason Christ calling people and having actual brief conversations with them, thanking them for buying their season tickets.
I want to know what do you think Trevor would have said if he had answered the phone? Exactly. My man does not want to be on the air. He doesn't want to be talking. I don't think he's gonna. I would love to have been on a party line to hear that.
The thing about these season tickets is that they reserve seats in Yankee Stadium for this team, and we knew this was
really bottom.
I don't think so. I think he would have. Well, okay. I mean, look, there wasn't really another place for them to play, and it's not a bad fit. It's a bad look for MLS. They're going to be in the stadium for a while as they try to work out a stadium deal with the city of New York. For me, that's one problem. The second problem to come out of the actual official announcement by New York City FC with all their muckety-mucks on a dais is that they said, I think it was Randy Levine, who's the president of the Yankees. I'm going to get his title right. He said they would be open to the idea of putting a stadium outside of New York. How is that not a massive failure if that happens?
Huge failure. I'm sure that guy got a note afterwards from somebody because everything about MLS for the last, 2 years, every bit of expansion talk is centered around must have stadium, must have stadium, must have stadium. And when it came to New York, it was must have stadium in the 5 boroughs. And that's been one of the hugest talking points. And when New York Yankees came attached to this deal, I think everyone said that's the industry or that's the entity that can get it done. And if they can't get it done, I think that's a huge miss for the New York market in that franchise because now how are you going to build yourself? The whole thing about New York Red Bulls and the whole thing that New York City FC built itself coming out of that announcement was this is the real New York team because this is really in New York. How are you going to play this off? You have city in your name.
It's 5 boroughs, 1 city is the tagline they've been using. You're
not going to be in either one.
It's going to be 5 boroughs, 1 city, and Yonkers.
And a principality.
5 boroughs, 1 city, and Westchester up here. We're up here, guys. Look up. We're up here in Westchester. No, it's not going to be good. The other wrinkle, and shout out to our boy Sean Francis, the Offside Rule. By the way, go listen to the Offside Rules podcast. Offside Rule. The Offside
TOR
podcast, which is fantastic with Sean and Kevin Brown. He actually linked to a PDF, which is the planning board of the town of village of Harrison, New Jersey, saying that NYCFC is going to train at Manhattanville College, which apparently is in Harrison, New Jersey.
Okay.
Is that weird?
Because they're going to go outside the city to train?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Is this? Am I? I have to. Okay, I have to get my geography correct. All I know is that it says at the top of the document, Planning Board, Town Village of Harrison, and then it says in the matter of the application of Manhattanville College, and then it goes into it's long and it's boring, but it goes into how New York City FC is going to be using some facilities in Harrison.
Okay.
I don't know.
So Harrison, New York, not Harrison, New Jersey.
See, that's what confused me.
Me too.
Okay, so they're going to be north of New York City and Harrison, New York. All right, now I take it all back. I apologize for my lack of understanding of the geography of the greater New York metropolitan area. Okay, that makes it a little bit different. That changes things a lot. It did seem weird that it was Manhattanville College, and it said at one point, Manhattanville is a not-for-profit education corporation formed and existing by the virtue of the laws of the state of New York. I was like, well, that doesn't make sense if they're in freaking Jersey. All right.
So, if I was a single guy in New York, I would live in Manhattanville, and I'd totally tell chicks, yeah, I live in Manhattanville. I live in Manhattanville.
That's just, dude. That's
Jay Rodian.
I could almost afford Manhattan, but not quite.
Yeah, no, I can't actually. It's not actually a place. Okay, so
I live in Beverly Hillsville.
Yeah, that's very nice. Or it should be like Beverly Villes, and then you can kind of sort through it like Beverly Villes. And they're like, "What? You live in Beverly Hills?" Like, "Yeah, I live in Beverly Hills." I mean that.
I'll tell you right now, in LA, someone will do that because it's all about what you have and where you live and what kind of car you drive.
All right, so look, training in Harrison, New York, is not a big deal. Putting a stadium outside of the city would be a disaster, in my opinion, for this team. They need to be in the city. I know.
What do you think about using the Yankee Stadium for 3 years? Is that what I heard right now? About 3 years, probably using it.
The New York Times reported 3 years. The team has not acknowledged that that's the time frame they're looking at, and clearly you can't put a time frame on the negotiations with the city and trying to get all of those ducks in a row, working with the mayor's office, et cetera.
Which just changed, by the way, too. So the new mayor in New York.
Oh yeah, and there's a lot of reports about how he is not open to any public subsidies whatsoever for this project. If they want to do it, they're gonna have to do it all with private money, which shouldn't be a problem. But it's a matter of getting the people in whatever neighborhood you're trying to get it built into on board, buying out whatever business, because it's New York. It's not like there's a bunch of open space and go, oh, that's where we put the stadium. Like, oh, look, that giant lot that nobody's using. It doesn't happen. So that's what they have to work with here.
I go back and forth on the New York Yankees, the Yankee Stadium thing, because first of all, New York City FC will be playing in a world-class, state-of-the-art sporting facility.
Yes.
They're not playing in a state-of-the-art, world-class soccer facility, though. And that's the rub, is that they're playing in a amazing sports stadium. And I don't know. There's going to be certain perks to come along with that. There's going to be amazing luxury-style suites, amazing food that you're going to have access to a lot of things as a fan by going to Yankee Stadium. Yeah. A good line of sight isn't going to be one of them, though.
It depends on. Look, I imagine that they can work it so that some of those seats will be fine. It's just there are going to be sections of that stadium with portions of it blocked off, capacity capped at 33,000. There's going to be portions of that stadium where if you're sitting down in your seat, it's going to be a pain in the ass to look at the soccer action. It just is.
I should claim I've been to one soccer game at a baseball stadium. I went to the.
Did you need a shower afterwards? You did, right? You needed a shower afterwards.
Why would I need? It's just not. I went to Dodger Stadium to watch the LA Real Madrid and I think it was AC Milan and I can't remember who all was there.
I watched that game on television.
So I'm at that game, and I'm just like, the sight lines are just not right. One whole side of the field has no one near it, and that's the part that really bugs me. But here's the thing. If it's a 3-year deal or 3-year Band-Aid to get a really good facility, I'm on board. Okay. I'm on board.
That's what it is. We will swallow this pill of a soccer team living in a baseball stadium, which has happened in MLS past. Luckily, luckily Sporting Kansas City got their stadium deal done and got out of that minor league venue they were in. Mm-hmm. We can swallow this pill, like you said.
Even that was better than Arrowhead Stadium, though.
Yeah, no, it was. If they can, except the field and the whatever, if they can get the stadium built in the city of New York, and no, Staten Island does not count. Okay, I know people. One person mentioned it. Staten Island does not count. Any of the other 4 boroughs. If they can get the stadium built in one of them, then we can all say, okay, that was worth it. Yankee Stadium was worth it, right?
Let me give you an either or. Here's a pick your poison for you.
Okay. All right. Hold on. I'm out of practice, dude.
Would you rather have New York City FC playing in Giant Stadium, which has been a soccer facility in the past and more akin to the right dimensions of a soccer field, or Yankee Stadium, which is a baseball field and not at all conducive to soccer, but state of the art?
This particular Giant Stadium has had international games and maybe a friendly. I don't think it's had MLS, but yeah,
It's a 3-year commitment. Which one would you rather than be playing in?
If I care only about the quality of the soccer, I want to say Giant Stadium. But if I care about building something in New York, I got to say Yankee Stadium. It's got to be.
I have to agree with you because I think it's Yankee Stadium because there's something about being visceral on the streets, close by. It's in New York. It's what you associate with. I mean, I don't know. For me, it's just something different and more intimate, yet not intimate. It's high class, yet intimate. I don't know why I think of it that way. I've never been there myself, but that's how I think of it. I don't think of Giant Stadium that way because I know what it looks like to watch soccer in the Rose Bowl, the Coliseum, things out here on the West Coast where it's just so unintimate, unfriendly, and football.
Well, I don't know that the atmosphere is going to be great at Yankee Stadium, but it's going to be better than it would be at New Giant Stadium, MetLife, whatever that thing's called, that monstrosity that they built out there. It would be better than that because 20,000 people in a 70,000, 75,000 seat venue is bad. 20,000 people in a 50,000 seat stadium with some of it blocked off is bad.
You also, if you're really, really dive in, you're a hardcore MLS enthusiast, you need to understand also that it's good for the league and for this team to play in New York Yankee Stadium because it's an owned property of the ownership, much like the Crafts, where we don't like the fact they play in Gillette, but they're not the money's staying in-house. Yeah, the money's not going out to some other entity.
Well, the one thing you would be concerned about there is, like in New England, there's no impetus to get out. Like, we don't have a reason to get, but that's not the case here because the Yankees don't want them there. That's the bottom line. They don't want this soccer team playing in their stadium. They're in a partnership. This is two people coming together and one of them making a sacrifice. Like, honey, I want you to be happy, and I really don't want to do this thing that you want to do. I don't want to go antiquing or whatever the thing is, but I'm going to do it anyway.
That's how I get laid.
Dude,
I do all sorts of stuff I don't want to do for one simple pleasure.
Damn, dog, that's an approach.
It's a new drop requested by Jared DuBois. We haven't initiated a new drop in a long time. It's good to have an addition to the board. All right. Speaking of stadium situations, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because this is more about politics than anything else. But it is interesting, and it does obviously speak to MLS policy. In Orlando, one of the politicians who was always against the stadium deal to get Orlando City FC SC their own building is a little bit upset that MLS has given Atlanta a team to play in an NFL stadium when Orlando was told if you don't build a soccer-specific building, you're not getting a team. Jared, right off the bat, is it a double standard?
Yes. I think what you're seeing is that MLS wants the money, big-time sports backing of Arthur Blank, and Orlando wasn't coming to the table with any of that. I mean, if you really think about the partnership, Don Garber's the NFL guy. This isn't the first time we've seen. I mean, obviously Kraft was in the building, but it was in the house before Garber ever joined MLS. But this is an owner that he knows how to deal with. I'm sure he knows exactly what he's going to get out of Arthur Blank. I think he's comfortable with it, whether the rest of us are or not. But those are deep pockets in a city he wants to be in. And they came with a version of a soccer-specific stadium that's really no different than Vancouver.
Yes, I'm going to get to that point in a second, but and I think that Arthur Blank's influence and money and pull in Atlanta all plays a major role in this. Don't get me wrong, but do you think that it matters that new Atlanta Falcons building is designed on some level with soccer in mind? Do you think it matters that they have that drape system, the same system they have? So therefore, does it mean that we take a little bit out of the double standard, or is it still just as bad?
I think I don't know what the exact verbiage ever shared with these owners was, but I think what you can say is that Arthur Blank came with a soccer-specific idea, a soccer-specific plan, and it, once again, like I said, when it comes to New York Yankees and when it comes to Robert Kraft, there's less risk when they use a in-house, already owned facility. Arthur Blank has this sitting there already, owned, operated, don't have to lease out, don't have to make a huge $100 million, multi-$100 million investment to build a stadium. It's already there. You hang some drapes, you get to work. What was Orlando going to play otherwise?
The Citrus Bowl. They're going to play in the Citrus Bowl for the first year because they're getting the other place built.
I know, but that's one more. What's the soccer specific idea for Citrus Bowl? There isn't one. That's why it's a temporary one. I think Orlando, for some reason, I think that Don Garber wanted to make sure that they got their own thing. They don't own the Citrus Bowl. Arthur Blank owns his stadium. Robert Kraft owns his stadium. The Yankees own their stadium. There's something to be said about owning these things. If you look all the soccer-specific stadiums owned by the team ownership. This team ownership. There's how many teams are still operating in a leased environment? I can't. Who is it? Any of them? Seattle.
Well, it's San Jose, but they're getting their own place too eventually.
So that's the big thing. It's less about soccer specific. It's more about soccer owned and like not renting and not leasing properties.
I suppose that's definitely. I suppose that's an element of it. By the way, have you seen the video of the process that brings the drapes down?
The world's most untechnologically. I saw the video. It's just like someone drew drapes slowly.
It's exactly the same as what happens at BC Place, and I made fun of the sheets and the towels or whatever you want to call them when I first saw that process at BC Place. But I watch a game in Vancouver on television. At least it seems like a decent place to watch a game, a decent atmosphere.
They're a lot cheaper than a whole new stadium.
It certainly is. A lot easier to be a tenant in a stadium again that was originally designed with the idea that soccer would be played there. I mean, because a lot of these places that they shove soccer into, the NFL buildings, soccer was never really thought of until after the fact. Oh, we can make more money if we put soccer in here. But you see some of these games, like games at Jerry Jones's place in Texas. That place it's a postage stamp when they put a soccer field on. There's no room between the corners and the boards and the advertising hoardings because they didn't think about soccer. They're like, oh, football field fits right here, and we maximize our seats. This is different. This is, okay, we're going to give enough space for a soccer pitch, field, whatever, and we're going to figure out a way to sort of make it feel like it's cozier.
Let me ask you a question. Between Miami, Atlanta, Orlando, and New York. Actually, take Orlando out because Orlando's going to happen. 3 years from now, between Miami, Atlanta, and New York City FC, which team are we still talking about doesn't have a deal in place?
Wait, Atlanta, Miami, and New York?
Yeah, I'm sorry, not Atlanta. I mean Orlando. I said, Atlanta owns theirs. I'm sorry. Orlando, Miami, and New York City FC. Who are we still talking about doesn't have a stadium deal in place?
New York. It's going to be New York. I don't know that there's as much political will in Miami as there needs to be for that deal to get done. It's constantly a back and forth. Like Beckham's people are sniping at the Royal Caribbean people, which I think is fantastic. I love that stuff. But I think eventually they'll figure that out, or they'll go to a different spot. I think they got a couple of different alternatives in Miami. While New York is such, they're going to be banging their heads against the wall.
If that's the case, then did Don Garber and MLS rush the New York City FC deal?
You can look at it that way, and I certainly think it looks like that from the outside. The other argument is, without the team already in place and playing and a presence in the city and sort of applying a pressure in that way, makes it more difficult to get the stadium done. And you have the Yankees involved, and you probably weren't going to get the Yankees if you didn't do this now.
Okay. What do you think that, while we're still New York City FC, before we move on to any other news outside of this, while we're still on this, what do you think about the rumors of Mixed Disc Route being a potential New York City FC signing?
I've only seen that through Trevor and a couple people online asking me about it on Twitter. I don't know much about the details. I think it'd be fine. I mean, where he is now, moving to MLS doesn't really damage his playing, his playing situation. Actually, probably makes it better because he'll get more time.
If you have to pick one American to come back from overseas, is that the one you want to pick, or do you go for Altidore?
Right now, I think Altidore can go back to Holland or find a place in.
He can, but I'm asking you, which one would you rather see in MLS at one of, if not the premier team of MLS?
Oh, in New York next season, not ahead of the World Cup. Worried about all that stuff.
No, next season. It started when the ball gets rolled out the first time. Which American player do you want to see them bring back? For
New York purposes, it's Josie.
I agree. I think it's the bigger signing. I think Mix is the more fun signing, though. If you think about Jason Kreis, and you think about the brand of ball he wants to play, And you think about Josie Altidore, who he is as a player, and Mix Diskerud, who he is as a player. I want to see Mix Diskerud playing for Jason Kreis. Not only because of that, but because also you may be looking at your next national team coach, and you're looking at one of the budding midfield stars of the next World Cup cycle working together.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think Diskerud would thrive at the point of the Kreis Diamond if they end up going that direction. Now, here's a question. I don't know that I've pondered this, and I've seen the video of Kreis in Manchester driving on the wrong side of the road, yucking it up, talking about being in England, going out there with Patrick Vieira and coaching the kids, the lads, as it were. Is he going to be changing his system to something more Manchester City-like, or are we going to get the diamond?
I don't think Jason Kreis signs that deal without having enough autonomy to say, listen, I've put a system in place. I've run a system in this league. I have a consistent string of results playing a certain style. And you're hiring me because I play the best ball in this league. But
he also did that. He used that system because of the players he had on hand. I think he adapted to that. I don't know that.
But why would you say? I understand if you played that system, that's all you could afford, and it was failing. He's playing that system, succeeding. So, I mean, I think why would he change if he's already figured out a very good system to play in this league?
Because he may not be as married to it as you think he is, and he may not have a Beckham.
I don't understand that at all then. I don't understand at all. I have the greatest way to drive to work. Why am I going to change that? Because, it's not the prettiest view?
No, because the system shouldn't be independent of the personnel that you have, because you need the players to make the system work. If you don't have a Beckerman, if you don't have a Morales, if you don't have a Saborio, can you play the exact same way? Probably not. So if you are working with a new group of players who have their own individual skill sets, he may decide, oh, look, in this the way that we've got, the type of players that we got right now, let's play 3 at the back. He may decide to do that. And
I will be shocked if on day one at New York City FC that Jason Kreis does not have a diamond in place. Okay. I will be shocked if he doesn't.
And to your point, Trevor is saying that, if he's able to bring the players in he wants, then he can recruit to his system. Absolutely. He can say, I need a 6 destroyer with good passing ability. Let
me go one step further. With all the rumors you're hearing, listen, not right now, but a month ago about Xavi maybe coming and this is the guy. Isn't that the guy you want at the front of your diamond?
If you have a choice, I
see perhaps those two things being linked. Maybe it's just me, but he's going to have a 10. He's going to run a diamond until he shows that they can't do it and they gets pressure to change something. Jason Kreis is going to come in. He's going to Kreis all over the place.
He's just going to Kreis it up.
Yeah, Kreis.
I don't know.
Damn, dog.
Inappropriate.
All right. So we talked about New York City FC. We hit on Orlando. We talked Atlanta. We got to touch on MLS. By the way, 4-0. The Red Bulls beat the Dynamo tonight at Harrison. Maybe the Red Bulls are clicking. As you said, it's gonna be tough to get some consistency if every time they go on the road and play on turf, they're not gonna have Henry. They're not gonna have Olave. Bradley Wright Phillips with a hat trick, so he got his 3rd in that game. That's pretty stunning.
That's very, very. Listen, they've needed an out-and-out striker for a while. If Thierry Henry is not going to be a striker all the time, Cahill's not going to be a striker all the time, Louis Ndula wasn't doing it. Since Kenny Cooper was there as the tandem guy, they haven't really played a real true or had a success with a true striker. So it's good to see Phillips out there and doing that. One quick thing, we got a tweet just now about Home Depot, and it just reminded me of something. Any connection between Home Depot pulling out their stadium name backing in the Home Depot Center when Arthur Blank owns Home Depot?
Meaning they thought about, we're going to be invested in MLS.
I think Arthur Blank knew stuff was going to go on a while back.
I'm a little confused about the Home Depot. I know he founded the company, but is he still directly involved in that way? Because a lot of guys,
I don't know if he is or not, but you would think you'd have enough connections. Home Depot is obviously interested in soccer, right? And you got a guy that's obviously very heavily interested in Home Depot, now into soccer. I think some of those dollars aren't necessarily out of soccer. I think they're going to get moved to Atlanta.
Okay, that's possible. I don't know.
I'm just all about conspiracies tonight.
Yeah, no, I love it. I absolutely drop some conspiracy knowledge on my head. I'll completely, I'll think they're all ridiculous, but I love hearing them. I think it would be hilarious. Like we've got, not that this is an issue. Oh no, wait. What's FC Dallas' stadium called now?
Oh God,
it's Toyota Field, right?
Toyota Field and Toyota Park. There's two.
Right. Yeah. So, and we've changed the. See, this is the problem. Now we changed.
Toyota's the new AEG.
Well, I was going to say that if it was still the Home Depot Center in LA and they decided to name the Falcons building something like the Home Depot whatever, then we'd end up with the same kind of situation. Two stadiums with MLS teams in it basically named the same thing. Just confuse the hell out of
I wonder how long that deal is with Dallas. Because that can't last.
Why? They're doing
Know.
good.
It's just, it just seems weird for Toyota to split their advertising dollars like that.
They also have their name on the stadium in San Antonio. They also have their name down there as well. So they're just all over the place. Toyota's big into soccer, man. Isn't that good?
Yeah, good. I really liked it more when Volkswagen was.
Okay, yeah. There's that. They pulled out of DC United, and everybody's sad. Now it says something Lados or whatever. All right. I thought we'd here on a Wednesday night take a quick look at the standings. I think we did this a couple weeks ago, and sort of just parsed out who we think is going where. Obviously, when you have the Red Bulls winning 4-0 over Houston, that looks like a sign of things to come potentially in the Eastern Conference because right now, I mean, it was 7 from 7 for the Red Bulls. That's not a great return. It's not terrible. It's not a horrible start, but it's
only 2 losses, 4 ties. I mean, they're like the Portland right now. It's Chicago, Portland, and New York. You don't really know much about them because they're putting up draws all over the place.
That's Red Bulls. Both their wins have come in the last week, Wednesday to Wednesday, because they beat Philadelphia last Wednesday to get their first win.
It's no coincidence they're getting Thierry Henry on the field more. Olave's getting back on the field. When they get Cahill on the field, I think it's a little bit unjust to judge them harshly without all those guys in play. I mean, they have plenty of time to turn this season around and actually give repeated Supporter Shield winners if they want.
Okay, let's do it this way. I'm going to go down the Eastern Conference. I'll go down with the standings. Very quickly, you tell me if the team is better or worse than their current position. Okay? Just
or same.
Or same, sure. Sporting Kansas City.
Same. They're good.
First place in the East, best team in the East, maybe best team in MLS. Columbus Crew.
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay, Columbus Crew, number 2 in the East.
For the East right now, I think they're okay at that spot. I think there's still question marks on Columbus Crew. They came out hot. I think other teams maybe starting to figure them out a little bit. I'll give them another 2 to 3 weeks and see where they are from there. But right now, I'm okay with them being number 2.
Okay, I think Columbus is only second on goal differential because they have the same number of points as Sporting. So just keep that in mind.
Toronto only lost still on season.
Yeah, Toronto FC. Well, that was to Toronto. Toronto FC in third on 9 points after 6 games. I think just quickly, I think that even with the money being spent and the expectations, they have to be pretty happy with that, considering the injuries.
Oh, yeah. Injuries. Yeah, they've some of their star players haven't been in for every game. I think that Toronto sees I think they're maybe overachieving a little bit right now. I thought they'd be a little bit lower to start, but I think in terms of what I've seen, they're about right in the right spot as well. Top 3 positions in the East, I don't really have too much issue with.
And they've had Jermaine Defoe on the field for what, 2 or 3 games at this point,
something like that, 2.5 maybe.
And Michael Bradley had obviously missed a game as well. They need to be healthy and get the most out of that money they spent. DC United is in 4th right now.
Super overachieving on 8 points after 6 games. Okay, fair enough. The New England Revolution, are they the team that you would say should be jumping over to DC United very soon? I still think I think New Revolution. I don't believe in them yet until they get Kellen Rowe back and consistent. Until I see what this team looks like with Kellen Rowe getting significant minutes, I don't know who they are.
Okay.
I mean, I think they're doing well for what the pieces they've been missing. They lose Juan Agudelo, huge piece. Kellen Rose yet to be healthy this season. They're doing well given the major pieces they're playing without it from last year.
They brought in Teal Bunbury. They traded for Teal Bunbury from Sporting Kansas City. He hasn't quite caught on. I don't know that he's even scored yet this year. I'd have to check the stats. They've got a couple of youngsters, draftees in their team. Patrick Mullins out of Maryland.
Sound familiar? Sounds a lot like last year.
And they just picked. I mean, apparently he's not taking up a one of the roster spots that really matters. But Showery Joseph, they just picked him up off of waivers. Now that could be a loyalty thing. Let's bring.
Dude probably had a condo in the city, so they made a deal.
But at the same time, it just doesn't fill you with confidence that New England's heading in the right direction when the guy they're going to pick up off the street is Showery Joseph.
It depends. Listen, it's fine depending on how much money they paid.
Okay, fair enough. Philadelphia Union in 6th, just below the line.
I think that's too low for them. They're better than that.
All right, they played 1 more game than New England and 2 more games than DC United at this point. But they're on the same number of points. Do you think they're better than they've shown so far? Because
5 draws. That's what. Listen, I think Philadelphia. I picked them to be a playoff team when we talked to a week and a half ago. Just based on early season results, I think Philadelphia Union can get a playoff spot. Okay. I think they're better than what that record shows right there.
plenty of people in Philadelphia telling me that the issue with that team is John Hackworth, period, end of story. Now, do you think that puts too much on him when the players got to go get the job done, or is there something to be said for that?
This is a guy, Freddie Adu didn't work there. John Hackworth was there. I mean, he was assistant at that time. Chased out of McInerney. There's something to be said there, but I think the fans are based on they're looking at a very 25,000 foot level. No one knows what's actually going on in that locker room. McInerney could have been a drama queen, for all we know. I
don't think it's just about that. It's also about his lineup choices and the tactics he's using, and they need to develop a dangerous system. I mean, they certainly got enough creative players from the looks of it. We're just getting to know Nogueira and Maidana. And we already know what Sebastian Latou is capable of. I'm not sure he's the same player he was 3 years ago, but he's capable of something. Andrew Winger is a mystery because he didn't get much time in Montreal.
We said it last year. John Hackworth was going to get a full buy for an entire season last year because of the financial position they were in last year, having to get rid of Freddie Adu for any cost. And these were all players that he didn't choose. This was Peter Novak's team, and he just adopted it. He had a full year as a free ride.
Okay.
I think now I think Philly fans are a little bit frustrated. I think they forget how bad of a position this team was in last year. John Hackworth's trying to get stuff. He's gotten the players there, the rights. I think I believe in the choices they have at a player standpoint. Now, the fact of the matter is now, can he put them together into a good team?
By the way,
from now, we can see.
Okay. By the way, I refreshed the standings because with the game tonight, the Red Bulls actually jump into third place ahead of Toronto FC. So that pushes DC into 5th, New England into 6th, Philly in 7th, Houston, who just got waxed by the Red Bulls, in 8th. Now, no Brad Davis in that team. That's a major factor for them. The way they started, though, and I know it was New England that they beat when they started out the season and Will Bruin was on fire, I still thought they were better than this.
Yeah.
Maybe I missed something, or maybe it is just a matter of Brad Davis being
it's Houston being Houston. This is what Dynamo does every year. I don't know why we always act like we're surprised. They just trail along, and then come September, they're going to be in it.
Okay. All right. We'll see. I mean, look.
We'll see. It depends how bad the World Cup hurts them.
Well, okay, again, you look at the East. Sporting's a playoff team. Columbus is probably a playoff team. New York's a playoff team. Toronto, possibly a playoff team. DC United, not. New England, maybe not. Philly, you say they are. We'll see. Early returns. So I say
Houston.
Then Houston is the 5th team, and they may squeak in again, and they'll make a run, and we'll probably see them against Sporting in the conference finals, and who knows then.
Are you buying Chicago or Montreal, though?
Buying them, they're terrible. Both of them are terrible.
I'm saying, would you buy stock? Is what I meant by that. Do you think either of those are better than what their records show?
Buy low, sell high. I don't know that either of those teams are going very far this season. Mike McGee's got to score a ton of goals to pick up the fire. It happened last year. I don't think it's going to happen this year.
Marco Schalabom's out there talking about he left because he didn't have enough say in player acquisition. You wonder how much of an iron fist Saputo's running that team with.
I actually wrote something about Montreal's setup for U.S. soccer players. I posted today. It addressed that very issue from what I understand. And yeah, I'm not in Montreal, but what everybody will tell you is that they run an Italian system. And in that system, there are many layers between decision making and the head coach, and really all Klopas is doing is running out the team that he's given, and his say in player personnel is limited. And they have Nick DeSantis, and they have Mauro Biella in the locker room as sort of the eyes of the ownership, and they have Joey Saputo in charge. I was told Joey Saputo even goes into press conferences and sets up the chairs. That's how involved he is. On one hand, that's cute. Like, oh, that's great. He's in the
but don't you feel he picked Klopas because that's a guy he could control? Klopas didn't have success at Fire. Why would you go get Frank Klopas when he was so underwhelming in Chicago? Why would that be your guy? Because he can manage him. Well, you think you bring in Wijnaldum and manage him like that? No way.
I think that he took Klopas on because his choices were limited, because it's not, you can run an Italian system if you're an Italian club with a pedigree that attracts good coaches. You're Montreal in the MLS. You're not going to get in MLS. You're not going to get the best guys coming and wanting to knock on your door. So when you run that system, it's going to be a hard sell to anybody above the level of Frank Klopas, right?
Yeah, I don't know who's out there though. That I don't know what the options are unless he goes foreign that can do that anyway.
Well, it's going to be a Hans Backe, Marco Schallenbaum type. These are guys, second, third level guys in Europe, maybe even lower.
But they're used to a European system where the coach has a lot more say than Saputo is willing to give, I think.
It depends on what culture they're coming from. But yes, I see what you're saying. It almost seems like they should be going with an Italian coach just because then they'd be familiar with this setup. I find it interesting that they've gone through 3 coaches. The first coach was Jesse Marsh, who was completely green, no experience as a head coach.
A guy a guy that was malleable.
A guy with a completely American pedigree and a very European setup, which is odd. The second coach, a European journeyman, a guy who'd spent a lot of time in Switzerland running teams, sort of trending closer to what they have as an ethos at that club. And now the third guy is an MLS veteran, a guy who knows the league but has not had a whole lot of success. So yeah, it's interesting in Montreal. All right, moving on to to answer your question, no, I'm not buying the Fire or Montreal Impact stock at this point, thinking that they may rise up the table. Moving on to the Western Conference, looking at the standings as they currently sit. FC Dallas, number 1, 16 points. You're probably going to have them dropping, aren't you?
No, not yet. I think their one loss is against Seattle. I think Seattle rose to that occasion. Seattle finally lived up to some of the hype they should be living up to. I still believe in FC Dallas. And one of the things that you asked me going into tonight was a surprise player of the season. I'm not sure if it qualifies as a surprise because he wasn't here last year, but Mauro Diaz has taken this league by storm so far. And unless he drops, I'm still a fan of SC Dallas, and that they can. I don't know if they're going to be number 1 at the end of the season. Actually, I'm probably guarantee there won't be number 1 at the end of the season. But I believe in them as a playoff, maybe top 3 team.
Okay, so you're saying that as of right now, they deserve that number 1 spot, and you wouldn't say they're overrated there, but they might not end up as the top seed in the West when everything shakes out. Seattle Sounders, they very well could be the top seed in the West. Now, they're going to lose Clint Dempsey and probably Brad Evans, and they've got those things to contend with. But right now,
and Dallas isn't going to lose anybody.
Blas Perez, right?
Blas Perez. I apologize. I was thinking American.
I'm wrong. He's Panamanian.
Panamanian. Yeah, they didn't make it by 1 point.
Seattle clicking. I mean, and I think that you're looking at something in Seattle. If Dempsey and Obafemi Martins have an understanding, that can be almost equally as dangerous as what we see in LA with Keenan Donovan. And
I think that's probably the most dangerous team on paper in the entire league. Absolutely. I mean, it's just the biggest thing is, can Ziggy Schmid gel these guys? Last year, everyone had a question about Ziggy Schmid. They re-upped. They put their faith back in Ziggy for at least one more year. Can Ziggy Schmid learn from the lessons of the last 4 years in Seattle and get something done in the postseason? I still don't buy them as a long-term candidate when you talk about MLS Cup. I buy them as a Supporters Shield candidate. Okay. I don't know that I buy them as an MLS Cup candidate.
Interesting. So the playoffs come around, and you think they might fold a little bit.
I think history shows that they do. Okay. He needs to show something above that.
Absolutely. Real Salt Lake in third place. They're still one of the league's better teams. Think
absolutely? I think the only undefeated team left in the league. It's amazing that they can say that 7 games into the season, third in the West, with a coaching change that is so big, right? In terms of losing Jason Kreis, the talisman, the leader. Their shirt says it all. It's bigger than that. It's about the team. It's not about any individual player.
Absolutely. They just seamlessly transitioned to Jeff Cassar, and things are going well so far. Colorado Rapids are in 4th place, 11 points after 6 games. Last year we were surprised by the Rapids. I'm not surprised anymore, but considering it's Paolo Mastroeni's first day at the rodeo, we should be a little bit, I suppose. Maybe? Yeah,
I think they're... I think they didn't get to where they were last year by having bad players. They have good players. Right. I think the biggest question is going to be, what was the leadership going to be? And were they going to all have a sophomore slump at the exact same time? Mm-hmm. And so far they haven't, but we'll see. The consistency and longevity is going to be big for Colorado Rapids.
I still don't think they're playing all that well. They've scored 8 goals. That's not a lot at this point in the season.
And how many were penalties?
Yeah, the first 5 were penalties. Yeah. So you're right. They may crash back to earth a little bit if they can't get more goal scoring out of that team. Vancouver Whitecaps in 5th. I am absolutely in love with the young attacking talent that the Whitecaps have. I don't know that they're going to do that well this year. I don't know if they're going to be a playoff team, but I think
they're the New England Revolution of this season.
Okay, fair enough. So you think they'll squeak in then?
Yeah, I'm not going to say they're the Colorado Rapids because I don't know if they can have the consistency that Colorado had all the way through the season last year. And I'm not sure if they have the leadership because Carl Robinson's a first-year coach. I think Vancouver Whitecaps are more like New England Revolution because they may end up getting together late and be able to push for something and meet and exceed people's expectations. But I don't think they're a real legitimate, consistent threat this season. Okay.
But they're not the 5th best team in the West.
No,
I don't think
LA is, and they have 2 games in hand.
Yeah,
well, LA is better than the 5th place team in the West.
I think LA is probably better than the 4th place team in the West as well. And then Vancouver and Colorado may be fighting it out below that level. And then you get down to the bottom 3 teams, and down there with Chivas USA and San Jose. San Jose still only played 5 games. I'm very concerned about them this season, but we'll see. Let's see, couple more games before we judge.
Real quick, we threw back by LA real quick. I want to say one thing. The other surprise player of the season so far for me, Ishizaki. Absolutely.
Okay, good. You chose Ishizaki because I'm going to take Dan Gargan because Dan Gargan is a good player and he's been around this league for a long time. But the job he's doing for the Galaxy is crucial right now, considering the injuries they have at the back. And AJ De La Garza is an incredibly versatile player, and to be able to, and I think actually LA will be better if Arena, and I don't think he's going to do this, Jared, and this is what may hold them back. They'll be better if he puts AJ back in the middle with Omar, puts Donovan on the left, and moves Dan Gargan over to the right. Absolutely.
I think the Dan Gargan's emergence as a consistent option at right back, once Todd Donovan gets back, assuming he can get back. Todd Donovan's struggled with injuries for the first time in his whole career the last 2 seasons. So we'll see if he can get back and be at the right level. But if he can, Bruce Arena has an embarrassment on his team if he has AJ De La Garza and doesn't know where to play him. You put him next to Omar Gonzalez. You won 2 championships that way. I know Tommy Meyer was in for the MLS Cup game a while back, but AJ De La Garza got them there. It's the 1-2 punch. It's master and blaster. You got to have it because Leonardo and Omar Gonzalez together aren't fast enough.
Yeah, that's good. Master and blaster. It seems obvious to us. For whatever reason, Bruce loves Leonardo and has come out again in support of Leonardo after the gaffe in Vancouver. Don't know what's going to happen. But
after the gaffe in the CCL and after the gaffe in Toronto last season, he's got so many of them. How many do you need before the evidence tells the tale?
By the way, where is Tommy Meyer right now? Do you have
Tommy Meyer? I believe last time he was on the reserve team. I don't know if he went down to Galaxy 2 or not. This is a guy that someone needs to make a move for. He was amazing in yeoman duty. And last year, Kofi Apari shows up, pushes him further down the line. Kofi Apari's sitting on the LA Galaxy bench as well. This is a guy that down the stretch was put in great center back minutes, but he's a young player, so I'm sure he's going to see time with Galaxy 2 as well.
Yeah, that Gargan on loan to Galaxy 2 at the moment. Or not Gargan. Tommy Meyer on loan at Galaxy 2 at the moment. Apparently played once so far. At least that's what Wikipedia
But I agree
says.
with you when we say Dan Gargan. I didn't think, and what's surprised about Dan Gargan is the offensive production they're getting out of him. Not the defense. I knew he guy could play defense, but he's a real integral part of the attack.
All right, a couple of other things, news and notes. The last couple minutes of the show here. DeMarcus Beasley had a hamstring injury. Apparently, there was some real concern that this was going to keep him out of the World Cup. The results came back and it's not serious. It's not as serious as they thought. I think U.S. national team fans should breathe a sigh of relief. As much as we wonder about Bambi on ice, he still fills a need the U.S. has, and he's still such a threat going forward on the left. Even if you don't like his defensive defensive abilities, that he can help this team.
I would still put him number 3 on the depth chart at left back, behind Fabian Johnson and Michael Parkhurst.
All right, 956, you're on the air.
What's up, man? This is Johnny Bravo.
Johnny Bravo, what's up, dude?
Long time no call, man. I just want to talk some U.S. men's national team.
All right, Johnny Bravo.
In a while.
Johnny, I know this goes against everything that you are, but you're going to have to talk just a little bit faster because we're running out of time, man. I want to get it all in.
All right. So I just want to talk about the U.S. men's national team.
Okay.
And who do you think is going to be on that 30-man roster? You know what I'm saying?
We talked about this. How many days? I can't count days. Like 12.
20 or so.
20 days. I haven't done the 30-man breakout. I mean, I could probably do a 23 for the World Cup as it stands right now if we really tried. I don't know if time.
I think the easier thing to do is who won't be on it, because there's way too long of a conversation to say who will be on it.
Makes it.
Wando will be on the 30-man, absolutely.
Yeah, will he be on the 23 man? I don't know.
The 23 is a little dicier prospect. There are a couple of strikers who you could consider for that spot, and I think everybody wants to go on merit. And well, Wando's shown enough recently that he deserves the opportunity.
Terrence Boyd's the second highest scorer of any American in the world right now.
I want to go with this whole merit, and it's the right thing to do to bring Wando, but I don't think that's the way Klinsmann should think, and I don't think it's the way he will think. And so I don't know. I'm still kind of up and down on whether Wando goes to Brazil.
Does Boyd even make the 30-man?
Boyd makes the 30-man. Well, how many? That's 7 extra spots. You're already going to have 4 strikers on your 23. How many spots you got for strikers in your camp? 2 or 3, right? And Eddie Johnson's probably on that list as well.
Eddie Johnson's on that list. Juan Agadello's not
Playing well.
Sorry, Johnny, go ahead.
Yeah, Eddie Johnson hasn't been playing well either.
It's true, but again, let's be careful about extrapolating that form with a team that's not that great at DC United.
No, because he's so versatile, and that's why I think that Klinsmann should take not Wando because he's so basic, and he should take someone like Juan Agudelo.
I've made the argument for Agudelo before. Appreciate the phone call, Johnny. Got no time left.
Let me tell you about a player that's pretty basic. Alan Shearer. You know how many goals he scored?
If Johnny was using that as an insult to Wando, I think it's actually the reverse. I think to be basic, the way that Wando moves and gets himself into the positions he does to score the goals he does is an incredible compliment.
You don't have to step over to nutmeg to be a good striker.
Because here's a question. Yes or no? Chris Wondolowski is a great athlete.
No,
he's not. I don't think he is. But he's an amazing goal scorer, at least at the MLS level, because he knows where to be.
If I was drafting a player, I'm drafting Eddie Johnson. As a rookie, I'm drafting Eddie Johnson.
Okay, well, that you fall into the same trap that, okay, yeah. I see what you're saying.
No, because you're banking on the athleticism and the potential. Yeah. And I don't know. And if I look at need, the only thing that hurts Eddie Johnson's value of the U.S. national team is if they take Julian Green. If they take Julian Green, Eddie Johnson becomes one less dimension of your team because you brought someone else to be the wide, fast threat in Julian Green. That hurts Eddie Johnson's stock.
Looking at these last couple of topics as we close out the show, Landon Donovan talking about David Moyes, a guy he played for at Everton, says he would love to have him in MLS. I mean, first of all, that'd be hilarious. And second of all, no. I mean, nothing against David Moyes.
It would be bad for MLS too, because then it'd be like, this is the only place that you go to do more damage than what you did at Manchester United. Like MLS, like we're getting their cast off.
He would be a disaster here for the same reason so many.
Whoa, why would he be a disaster?
Because the whole thing would be
He has run an EPL team like you would have to run an MLS team. If you think back to Everton, how much did he do with less?
That's a good point. There's something to be said for that. But it's the roster.
How workmanlike were his teams at Everton?
I know the roster rules confound everybody. They do.
That's fine. But I'm just saying that the guy made his name doing more with less under tight budgetary constraints in the EPL.
David Moyes is the guy you want to take shopping with you if you're trying to like do a dinner on a budget. Yeah, he's that guy.
If you brought Mourinho over here, you know how frustrated he would be?
Mourinho's going to end up U.S. national team head coach apparently at some point. I don't know. By the way, if they end up playing like Chelsea did against Atleti and tends to against,
come on, they were down a bunch of guys. They had to play like that.
Whatever. That's the way he likes to. That's Mourinho's default setting. But whatever.
That's why he likes to play big games.
By the way, speaking of rumors, you mentioned Mikel Diskerud. I heard one today from Pete Chad in Vancouver that Darren Bent may be talking to MLS. Is that good, bad, care enough?
It depends, once again, how much money you're going to get him for. I don't want him for Jermaine Defoe money.
Okay, fair enough. He's 30 years old. He's not.
That's great. I have a good goal scorer at the right age. I'm just worried about, is he a DP?
Yes, he has to be. There's no way you're getting him for less than DP money.
He's not a DP for LA, New York, or Seattle.
No, then that limits his options. I absolutely agree on that. And I'll say the same thing
DP for Chicago.
I'll say the same thing here that I said to Pete Chad on Soccer Morning. He would need to be playing with somebody who has the kind of understanding to make that work. I mean, I think that maybe Mike McGee. Obafemi Martins and Dempsey works that way. Keane Donovan works that way. Bradley Defoe works that way. He would need that kind of guy.
If Pete Chad's breaking it though, that's Vancouver then, right?
No, I don't think he meant for Vancouver. No. Okay. And honestly, that would just push out one of those young guys, Kutamane or Darren Maddox, and I'd be sad about that. Jermaine Jones tattoo. Have you seen it?
Why is it on his knee? Who gets a tattoo on your knee?
Clint's got Texas on his elbow.
Yeah, but this difference is you're gonna elbow a dude in the face with the heart of Texas. You know, like
you can do a sneaky knee and look. Here's my stars and stripes. Bam.
I'd rather him get his. If for Jermaine Jones, you should get the stars and stripes on the bottom of your foot because you're gonna be cleating dudes with it.
That's covered by the
spikes up. No, but underneath those spikes that he's going through your hamstring is the stars and stripes, baby.
All right, fair enough. And the last thing, closing out, I love this. Only have like 10 seconds. The FIFA chamber. Did you see the FIFA chamber pictures?
Yeah, it's definitely where Dr.
Evil
Evil has his lair. Yeah.
All right, I have no time. iTunes ratings and reviews help us out a lot. Thanks for listening. Best Soccer Show. Glad to be back. Sunday, we'll be back on Sunday. Bye, guys.
The best.
Only the best.
Rodius.